Live here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, here at DNA HQ. We are the folks from the show that you are currently watching. My name is Darren. That is AJ. Welcome to the DNA Sports Recap. What's going on, AJ?
What is up? I'm just enjoying life, man. Just enjoying life. Just trying to be as happy of a Utah sports fan as I possibly can be lately.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of good things to talk about unless you're from further down south, and we'll definitely get into all that. So before we get into the show, though, folks, once again, this is a live stream. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, on the Instagram, we are going to try and do a better job of checking on the Instagram side. So if you are tuning in on Instagram, we're going to keep an eye on the comments section there as well for that. So just keep that in mind that if you are watching this live on the stream, please feel free to comment. It always makes it easier.
Do it.
It always makes it a little bit funner for us to engage with you guys when you
otherwise we just start rattling through our stuff, and before we know it, the show's over, and then I'm sad.
Yeah.
So don't do that to us.
Yeah. Then we have to wait a whole other week to do this. And,
Don't be that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See his face. He's sad. And it's nothing to do with the Utes right now. It's just sad because you guys aren't commenting on our show live.
Like nobody's commented anything yet. And it's just terrifying. It's fine. It's fine.
It's all good. It's all good. It's early in the show, AJ. We haven't really even got to do it. On today's episode of the DNA Sports Recap, we're going to be covering some stuff. We got some college football to tackle, mainly just some stuff in regards to local teams, BYU, Utah, and all that fun stuff that went down this weekend. Some stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Lots of stuff to talk about. Not necessarily anything good. Sorry, we got a drop in there from Alexander McKinnon, RIP Utes. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that one. We also have a comment from Joshua.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good
Josh.
evening.
And Greg is coming back in here. All my teams are back.
We're going to get into it, Greg.
We'll
we are fully aware, my friend.
We appreciate it. Thanks for jumping into the comments, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we needed right there. Get this night going the right way.
Absolutely. So before we get into the so we're going to talk about a little bit about college football. We're also going to talk a little bit about your Utah Hockey Club, cover the Utah Jazz, and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball as we normally do on this show. But before we get into all that, we need to do our pre-show cheers. So cheers to you, my friend.
And cheers to you guys.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into the podcast, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and start with the run through. You want to do college football? I'll do NHL. You do Jazz, and then we'll be and call it good.
Yep.
All right. Let's do that. All right. Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
The Utes and BYU have completed the Holy War. Let's break that down. And also, Utah takes on Colorado. Let's talk about the game coming up.
In hockey, Utah Hockey Club has a goalie issue, but more importantly, the Utah Hockey Club has a puppy. Let's talk about it.
Great point. The Utah Jazz are starting the in-season tournament. And what should we expect from the Utah Jazz rookies?
In Major League Baseball, Roki Sasaki has been posted. He's coming to America. And let's break down, one of our favorite topics on this channel.
Absolutely.
Let's talk Trevor Bauer. All that more. My name is Darren. That is AJ. And this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro. The hand-drawn logo.
Yeah.
Hey, you did great work on it.
Hey, it's great. I appreciate it.
Great work. Great work.
All right, folks. Let's go ahead and jump into the show here. Again, appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us here. If you are watching us live, please feel free to jump in the comments. We'd love to chat with you on that one. We do have a few before we get into it. Let's go ahead and start with Greg's comment there. I'm totally okay if you guys want to skip the Holy War breakdown today.
Yes. I mean, honestly, I'd be okay with that as well.
Hey, 50-yard line, man. You had a good chance.
I did have great seats for the game, and it was excellent for about 58 minutes.
Alexander McKinnon.
Sore
topic for sure. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off, Greg, and jump into that, shall we? Let's just do that as fast as we can here. It says that was a crazy game. Absolutely. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it there. Let's first talk about the BYU versus Utah. Utah loses to BYU 22-21 in a controversial ending to the Holy War. Let's go ahead and first of all, why don't you go ahead and break down for us what happened, man? Like what happened in this game?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, all controversial calls, all of that business aside, it was a hell of a football game. I mean, it really was. I mean, especially if you were a Utah fan, like I said, for 58 minutes, the Utes defense was absolutely everything we'd hoped for. I mean, they were dominating. They were bend, but don't break. They were allowing BYU to move the football, but they would stuff them up, make them kick field goals. It was everything that I was like, this is what we need to do to win.
Mm-hmm.
They were making it happen. I mean, we did have some special teams issues. Obviously, we give up like a 90-something yard kick, kickoff return for a touchdown, which was really tough to watch. But, I mean, the Utah's offense, I mean, they look in the first half, they looked alive and well. You know what I mean? They were moving the football. Brandon Rose looked great. I was like, this is actually a football team. This isn't just a bad team. You know what I mean? Like, we're not playing some schmoes. Like, we're playing a top 10 team in the country, and these guys look good. But then the second half happens, and the offense was tough to watch. They went into the typical Kyle Whittingham manage the clock offense, which consists of run the football, snap the clock with under 5 seconds to go, get a first down or two, and you're pretty much just hoping for a chunk play here or there to keep having the opportunity to run the clock down. All aggression for the Utes in the second half was gone. I mean, they weren't trying to score the football. You could tell that they were 100% committed to the defense is going to carry us home on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What did you see?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of took my comment on the game kind of right out of the comments right out of my mouth there. When it comes to the game itself, really, it played out exactly like every Utes game that I've seen where they had a chance to win, and some early on where they actually did win, like the Baylor game, perfect example of it, where that actually played in the Utes' favor. Same kind of situation where they didn't really score. I don't think they scored at all in the second half in the Baylor game either. But when you come down to it just, you just go after it. You play offensive, get down the field type football, and you get a decent lead, and you just lean on the defense heavily, and you make an effort, but not really a strong effort, and just really focus on field positioning to try and win the game. I've seen this a lot this year. I've seen it a lot last year, and it's just not conducive to what I would expect to be winning football in this kind of competitive environment.
Especially because the college football field has leveled out so much. The fact is there's not superpower teams anymore. You can see that by the records in college football. You can see that the really good players there's really good players on every single team now. The talent is just so more spread out through the country. Every single week you have a different challenge. Every single team that you see is coming ready to play with that exact same chip on the shoulder that Utah was so notorious for.
Yeah. What I think is the issue there is that the cracks for Utah really started showing last year, right around game 4, game 5, when you realize that this type of gameplay just isn't going to work anymore.
Absolutely.
Last year in the Pac-12, we really saw the Pac-12 take a huge leap forward in competitiveness when it comes to the national stage. You had Oregon and Washington both playing very, very well.
Yeah.
Going all the way to the college football playoff. And you can just kind of see with that kind of play that the way that Utah's done it in the past, and being up on lesser teams and lesser talented teams, no offense to everybody else out there, in those years that they really just kind of had their way of doing things and knew how to win. And I think they hopefully by now, the coaching staff and the front office for this, not necessarily the front office, but the athletic department for this team, realize that this is just no longer the case. You can't really get away with that anymore.
Yeah.
We've seen enough evidence for that.
I mean, that's absolutely the case, though, because unless you can put 28 points across the board and do it throughout all 4 quarters, like you need to get a touchdown a quarter. Yeah. You need to be able to put 28 up. And then if you can hold everybody to 21, it's, you know what I mean? Like, that's okay. That's
what this team defense is capable of doing with this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the top defenses in the country. After that, I mean, even after the showing against BYU, they went up 2 rankings. They're now the 13th ranked defense in the country. So like this is a fantastic defensive team. They are great, but this offense has something to be desired. I think Mike Bajakian is on the right path, because you could tell that he schemed together the plan against BYU specifically for Brandon Rose, and it was successful in the first half of the ball game.
Yeah, he's doing great. Doing
Yeah,
really,
I mean,
really great.
the calls were much better.
Made you really second guess the teams thinking of putting Isaac to over Rose at the beginning of the season.
I don't know. I don't
just
know.
a little bit. He just seems a little bit more confident in the pocket. He just seems a little bit better.
Well, yeah, he's been with the program 3 years.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like I get it. It's the offensive coordinator, and it probably would have been different when they did it. If he had a scheme to, if he was QB2 with underneath that offensive coordinator versus now, so it probably would have been different. Yes, I get that, but honestly, man, just kind of to me, it seems like they just kind of wanted to appease to the kid that they missed out on his brother earlier when he went to BYU instead of Utah. His brother, they wanted his brother badly at Utah, and he chose.
They didn't offer Zach. That's why if they would have offered Zach, he would have gone to Utah. They didn't offer Zach at all.
Really?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
He did not receive an offer from Utah.
Okay. So
that's why he went to BYU.
This is the conversation that was going on ESPN 700 today, is that they missed. Okay. So maybe they didn't offer. Yeah. They missed the mark. They let a Wilson boy go.
Exactly.
So they didn't want to make the same mistake twice. Okay. I'm just misinterpreting that one.
Yeah. You're good.
Yeah. But no, so that makes sense. I just think that they just wanted to appease to the kid who his brother is in the NFL, and they didn't want to lose the talent. So they appeased to him in this transfer portal year, instead of giving the kid that's been with the program for the last 3 years a real shot.
But to be really clear, Isaac Wilson is a really talented quarterback. I mean, he was elite. He was an elite 11 quarterback out of high school, which means he is one of the top 11 quarterback prospects. He had offers from every single school in the SEC. Sorry. Every single school in the Big Ten. You know what I mean? Like, this kid had offers from everybody, and he chose Utah.
Which is great.
And I think he chose Utah knowing that Cam Rising only had 1 year of eligibility left at the time. And, you know, he was going to be able to learn from Cam and come in there and have a chance to really play football in his second year.
Be QB2.
He absolutely didn't. I don't think he had a chance. I don't think he thought he had a chance. But
yeah,
you know, like
when he committed the program, we didn't even lose what's his name yet. Like before he Pig Farmer to Utah State when he committed, we didn't even lose him yet.
Well, we lost Barnes right after he committed. Well, we lost Barnes right after Cam said he was coming back.
Yeah.
That's when we lost Bryson Barnes. Yeah.
And then when did Isaac commit?
He committed. I think he was already committed to the program at that point.
Yeah, I think so. So that's why I'm thinking. I'm like, wait a minute. Anyway. It's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and jump into a few of the comments here so we can stay caught up on those. Joshua says that Utah gave BYU everything they could handle.
Sure did.
Absolutely did, man. It was a heck of a game for sure. The experiments with some zone defense and with Red Slavs and Red Slav ate it up. Yeah. Yep. When they went to a man coverage with a lot of blitzing, our defense feasted.
It's exactly what I was about to go into too.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah.
You want to expand on that a little bit, or?
Yeah. I mean, he literally nailed it though. Like, the fact was in the second half of this game, on that final drive, for some reason, the Utes decided to go into a soft zone coverage to allow some medium pass yards, because they were trying to allow the middle of the field to let the clock run off, because BYU didn't have any timeouts.
Right.
The whole game they were in man coverage. The whole game, every single play, they were in man coverage and they were sending pressure. And Retzlaff had no idea what to do. He's not an accurate enough passer to put the ball in a basket and throw it over a one-on-one coverage. That was what every ESPN analyst said. That, you know what I mean? Like, can he beat one-on-one man coverage against this really talented cornerback, room for Utah? Fact was, he couldn't do it all game. You know, they had some passes over the middle when, again, the Utes fell into his own coverage. He could slip a pass in and it looked okay. The one pass on that final drive that he threw into man coverage was this close to being picked off by Cam Calhoun.
Yeah, I saw that play.
I mean, and that obviously ends the game, but I mean, you absolutely nailed it, Greg. I mean, if they don't move out of man coverage, the Utes win this game.
Yeah. You also commented here that offense looked pretty good in the first half, but fell off the cliff in the second half. Part of me wonders if Brandon Rowe's injury played a part. I could see that. And they say he didn't love it, but
I heard that his injury happened in the last play of the game, but I wonder if he got hit on one of those things, and it was, and because all of a sudden in the first half of the game, they were using him as a running back.
Yeah.
Right. He was tucking the ball and he was going. They had some option stuff in there for him, and it was really effective because BYU did not think that's what we were going to do with a quarterback.
No.
So he had that one run for like 18 yards where he popped up real quick, was great. But you saw none of that in the second half. So
No, absolutely none of it.
I kind of wanted the same thing as if he did get injured earlier in the, where he was maybe not feeling 100%, and they potentially changed the package around it.
Yeah, got hurt on one of those plays there and kind of backed off. But I do think more to Gray's point, I do think that it was more of basically the Utah just went back to playing Cam Whittingham type football.
Kyle Whittingham or Cam Whittingham?
Kyle Whittingham. Sorry, so many names on this team to keep an eye on people who are letting us down this year. I'm just kidding.
So many names are letting us down.
No, I'm just kidding. Cam, you got hurt. Nothing you do about that. Or, maybe slide or step out of bounds. But hey,
do anything other than dive into a water cooler.
Yeah. Well, I still say that was roughing the passer after anyway. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think the holding call, let's talk about that. So now here's my whole thing about it. There's a lot of Utah fans that are up in arms about everything that went down and saying how the game was stolen from him. We'll definitely get into that later. Thank you to the commenter who made that comment, like literally after the game, posted that YouTube link and just said, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'll have to look at that. Yeah, dude, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, the holding call itself, yeah, it was holding. Yes, it was. Okay, the call on the field was holding.
The call on the field was holding.
You can see his route change after the coverage impacted him and grabbed him. His route changed.
Okay, so do you know what that rule specifies? As a defensive back playing defense on a cornerback, you are allowed to initiate contact within 5 yards of the ball being snapped. You are allowed to go up and bump them and change their route within 5 yards.
Yes.
So within 5 yards, he makes a hard bump.
That first bump was not the holding play though.
I get that, but you're saying that the route changed. He bumps him hard and he's falling down as he's running up the sideline because he bumped him. He hit him hard. As soon off that 5 yards, boom, he slammed him.
Yeah.
He's catching himself trying to run up, doing everything he can to try to sell any penalty that he can because he's falling down, and the refs throw a flag. It's absolute garbage.
It's the second contact that where you could see it.
Did you see the John Boy video?
Yes.
I don't see anything in that second. I don't see anything in that second one.
Okay. On the second one, you can see the hands.
Because you
on
can
the
see his
shoulder
hands
pad.
clear.
You can see the hands on the shoulder pad on the back of the shoulder with his hand on the jersey.
Yeah.
In that second.
I didn't see that. I thought it looked clean.
Yeah. So I actually did extensive research on this and watched as much coverage on this as I possibly could outside.
Absolutely.
So I watched Locked On Big 12 podcast. I watched
That was
On
garbage.
Utes. I watched on.
I don't know how you can be the Locked On Utes podcaster and have that negative of an attitude against the Utes. That is absolute garbage.
Well, I don't know. We're not exactly singing their praises here so far.
Well, right, but that guy didn't even seem like a Utah fan in that.
No. I agree.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Well, when I went to John Boy and John Boy's video was great, which by the way, if we're causing that much controversy, the fact that the Yankees fans covering this is great, right? I love that. So that's super awesome.
Yeah.
To see that. Thanks, John Boy, for covering it. But here's my take on it. I didn't love the call, honestly. Okay?
I hate the call because the game's over.
Didn't like the call.
Retzlaff's on his back when they throw that flag.
Yeah. On ESPN 700 during the drive with the Big Show Hour when Gordon Monson, who's a columnist for the Trib, gosh, I can't get that out, for the Trib, he was on there, and so was the Craig Bolerjack, right? Does a lot of before he signed with the Jazz, he did a lot of college football nationally for CBS. So they both agreed that it was holding call. So, but they also stated that holding happens on every play,
every
in
single
football.
one.
And given the scope of the game and where it was at that point, you'd be hard pressed to find an official that's going to make that call.
No, you wouldn't. Just watch BYU Utah.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. I have a hard time putting it all on that because, it wasn't the officials that made Utah not score in the second half whatsoever.
The officials didn't give up a 95-yard kick return.
And it wasn't the officials that,
sent the Utes into soft zone coverage for the last drive of the game.
But yeah, that's the other thing is the last drive of the game, man. You had an opportunity to stop them. You've been stopping them all day. All of a sudden you just decide not to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can only point the finger so much of the refs that you want
Absolutely.
to, and at some point you got to accept the fact that you let this game get this close.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of where I'm sitting on that. You can take the refs out of it, and if you put this in any other team, BYU playing any other team, this is exactly how BYU's won like 3 games this season by some myriad of miracles, basically. falling their way.
Absolutely.
So this is just a BYU win as a typical BYU win. And does it suck? But yeah, absolutely. Does that call? Do you see that call get called in 90% of games? Probably not. But was it sold enough with the guy stumbling that the refs keep an eye on it just to see if the route changes when he does regain his balance and sell it? Probably. Yeah, probably does. And the funny thing was he wasn't even the closest ref to him. The ref that was behind him was like 5 yards behind him, didn't blow the whistle, but the one 25 yards down the field saw it and blowed it. So I thought it was a little ridiculous, the call. I wouldn't have made the call, but honestly, it is what it is, man. You just put themselves in that position. That's kind of where I'm sitting on that game.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and move on over to what happened after the game. Now, obviously, it wasn't the game that was the talk of everybody, right? Actually, let's hit some of the comments here before we get there. We covered this one, right? Offense. Okay. And we also have this one here. Also sucks that we see Keith injured and Glover leaving. Yes, we're sure we'll get into the injuries here in a minute. But yeah, so anyway, it's was known there that Mark's comments, the athletic director for the University of Utah, decided to take it upon himself to go on the podium unannounced and make some comments about the officiating of this game.
Mm-hmm.
It goes beyond that, actually. Towards the end of the game, where they had 4 seconds left on the clock, the athletic director for the University of Utah, in their maiden season with this conference, decided to run onto the field and yell at the referees.
You know why he yelled at the referees?
It doesn't matter. You don't do that.
Well, yeah.
He's the athletic director. He runs on the field. He starts yelling at a referee, gives the Utes the penalty. So they don't even have the 4 seconds that was on the clock that they could have gotten back. So not only did you cost yourself $40,000 and cost yourself a lot more than that, and we'll get into that a little bit, but you also cost yourself a chance for your team to actually do anything to try and make a miracle happen on the last play. But you tell me why the athletic director ran on the field to yell at the...
Well, it was the referee that he was talking to, obviously, was one that the Pac-12 had been working to disbar from the Pac-12. So, that's what he went out to tell that referee is that's why we fired you.
Yeah.
Which is
great.
Great. But
could have waited till after the game.
Probably could have waited 10 seconds.
Yeah. But question, why were the refs still on the field at that point? That was the point where Kyle Whittingham and Kalani Sasaki were going up to shake hands.
They were walking up. Kyle didn't shake Kalani Sataki's hand.
No, they hugged.
I don't think they did.
Yeah,
they got up to the. I think they got up to each other.
Kyle reached out to shake his hand. Kalani didn't shake his hand. Gave him a big old hug.
Oh, okay.
They hugged, and then he's like, "Yeah, hey man, good game." And then he turned around and just started accosting the refs as well.
Yeah,
which is fine. Your team just lost. You felt like you got shortchanged there. I'm okay with that. I also really love that Sataki hugged him and embraced and stuff like that. And, and the fact that Coach Witt made the priority to make the contact with the opposition's head coach first before he decided to go after the refs.
Yeah.
That was a classy move by him. And I think that gets a little missed in this because he was so heated. But honestly, yeah. So anyway, he gets on there and he says, that's why we fired you on the field, right? And then he goes on the field, and then goes in the conference room, still heated after leaving the locker room, says what he says. And that's what. And I don't know. Let me first tell me about that. What do you think about his comments there in the press conference?
Do you want me to read I want to read the comments just in case. I'm sure you guys have all seen them, but
go ahead.
We won this game. Someone stole it from us. Very disappointed. I will talk to the Big 12 commissioner. That is not fair. This was not fair to our team. I'm disgusted by the professionalism of the officiating crew tonight.
Yeah, he definitely did talk to the commissioner for sure.
Yeah, guarantee that he was probably on the phone with the commissioner about 2 seconds after that went live.
Yeah, it was his phone that was ringing, not he was calling them.
Yeah, he was definitely getting the phone call.
Yeah. Do you have the comments? The other response on Sunday?
I have his statement after being issued the fine and his statement back to everybody else. So
here, I'll read the comments from the Big 12 first, then you can read Mark's.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mark's comments were irresponsibly challenging the professionalism of our athletes and the integrity of the Big 12 conference. Commissioner Brett Yorkham said, there's a right way and a wrong way to voice your concerns. Unfortunately, Mark chose the wrong way. Accordingly, this violation warrants a public reprimand and a financial penalty. The Big 12 prioritizes professionalism, integrity, and fairness, and will continue to do so. He's fined about $40,000.
Yep. So after that statement from the Big 12 commissioner, he issued another statement saying, last night following our game against BYU, I made clear my feelings related to the game officiating. However, I recognize that there are more appropriate times and avenues to express those concerns. I accept the consequences of my decision. My comments came after having just left our team locker room where our student athletes were hurting and upset. The University of Utah is proud to be a member of the Big 12 Conference, and we look forward to working with our peers to continue to enhance the league. BYU, Coach Sasaki, and their coaches and student athletes are having a terrific season, and we wish them the very best. Do you know what is missing from that statement?
An apology.
An apology. He does not apologize.
No.
He doesn't even all he does is recognize and accept what he says. He does not say sorry.
No, he doesn't think that what he did was wrong. And I'm sorry, man, but this is a conference there where, we heard it all off season, all preseason, during the media day before that. Everybody was talking about how BYU was acting like they were too big for this conference coming into it. And now you guys are, when it comes to the University of Utah, you guys have one conference win, which isn't
the
fair.
Worst team in the conference.
Which isn't fair because Baylor technically was a conference team, but doesn't count as a conference win, which, I'll get it. I don't like that. I think if you're playing the conference, you play the conference. But anyway, so they got screwed out of a conference win there, at least in my opinion. But yeah, you're not looking good. You're not even in the top four. And yeah, this game was really important for Utah to win because it gave you one of the two things that are important to you in this season, which was, competing for a conference title and also beating BYU in conference again. And they took that he felt that they took that away from him. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't love this, man. Locked On Baylor said, he's like, I partially want to call this boo-hoo on this one. You weren't you weren't happy to be in this conference. We threw you a lifeline. Why don't you go back to the Pac-12 if they will take you? Like, that's the comment from the Baylor. And this is coming, he's like, but he also mentioned there that this conference does have a history when it comes to that, the referees having issues. So he did say that he understands where they're coming from. The Morning After podcast with Hans, Scotty G and Lloyd. They do a radio show here locally on 1280 KSL, The Zone. Scotty on the radio broadcaster. He's also the Utah State broadcaster and former VP of Miller Entertainment Group, said this is a really bad look for Utah. Hans stated that the athletic director is held to a higher standard and has no business being the one getting emotional in front of a mic or on the field. Hans stated that the letter of the law, it was a hold. They threw him off his route, but he doesn't know a whole lot of officials that would have made that call. Yeah, I don't know, man. How do you feel about this? I think this is a big black eye for Utah on this program to come out here and for him to say those kind of things on a hot mic, not apologize in his apology, especially when it comes from the fact that, yes, you just got beat by your rivals, but BYU is having a hell of a season, and to act like this game was taken from you and to say that you're not happy to be in the conference that night, I don't know, man. This is a big black eye for this. And I don't know how long Utah's going to be in this conference, but this is not the way you want to start off your year. You're not playing football the way you want to play football. You're not playing Utah football. You're not representing the state well. And what you're doing here is basically being a big old crybaby about it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I do. I mean, I don't think that the public comments were definitely what they should have been, but this is my thing. This season's been full of frustration for Utah football. I mean, the program overall obviously has been really tough for players, coaches, every single person. They were obviously very hyped. I think Utah really struggles when they're really hyped. Utah plays better as an underdog. They always have. I believe they always will. And I think that sometimes that frustration definitely boils over. I don't know if the athletic director is a person for it to boil over for, but I think that as a diehard Utah fan, to see the AD as frustrated as I was and be able to put it on a mic, it didn't bother me in the moment. Obviously, looking at it and seeing how it's been on such a huge national stage and what everyone's saying about it, I think is a little more like, oh shit, that's not exactly what I was hoping for. But in the moment, to see the AD as passionate about the game and as upset about it as I was, and say the things that everybody was thinking, every single Utah fan was thinking, they stole this game from us, blah, blah, blah. He put it out there. At the end of the day, it showed that Harlan is a Utah fan, just like you and I, and he's also human, right? He made a mistake. He definitely shouldn't have gone and done that. But if any other fan would have had a chance to go out up on the stage and say all of those things, they're going to say just like he did. And it doesn't bother me.
Well, that's good to know. Good to know. Yeah, you might want to pull that off here. We're catching the mic on the cord.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, we're hearing that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think we're going to agree on this one, man.
Oh, no, we're not. We're not.
You know, as somebody who has been following the Utes pretty close to the last 2 years, and when it comes down to Utah or BYU, I've always picked Utah my whole life. At this point, I was embarrassed to be on that side of the fence. This is an embarrassing moment for the program that they did this. And the fact that when he had the opportunity to accept his mistake and actually apologize, he didn't.
Correct.
That's not, I'm sorry, but that's just not what you expect from him.
He recognized and accepted.
That's not an apology, man.
That is not an apology.
That is not an apology. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, I understand. I understand passionate fan bases, but at some point there becomes a situation in society where you have to own up to your mistakes, or you just need to accept the fact that you are not the person who should be in that position.
Totally agree.
So yeah, not a great look. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Let's move on to Utah versus Colorado, shall we?
Yep. Oh, before we do that, let's actually talk some of the injuries. Greg Hawkins made a comment that also sucks to see Keithy injured and obviously Glover leaving. He's going to transfer out of the program.
Yeah, just entered the portal.
Yeah. So Keithy's hurt. Money Parks is hurt. I did not realize Sam Heward, our 5-star quarterback that was on the roster, also took a season-ending injury a couple of weeks ago, so he's not on the roster. So we're now down, what is that, 3 quarterbacks this year?
Yeah.
So
you ready to suit up and get under center there?
You know, I do still have a couple of years of eligibility left. If Kyle called me, I'd have to see what the NIL deal was, but I could probably make it work.
Nice. We'll just settle for a sponsorship. That'd be great.
Yeah, just a sponsorship's fine also. I will take that in form of payment.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to talk about some of the injuries because there's a lot.
There is a lot. And you know, it's what's really going to kind of be the only problem is this year is a little different than last year. Last year, all the injuries hit right up front, and they still found a way to wait a few games before everything kind of hit the fan. This year, everything hit the fan, and then the injuries kind of came. You know, so I mean, with the exception of Cam, obviously, but in this case, yeah, these injuries do suck, and it really does hurt this team's ability to kind of right the ship this year going forward. So that's a little unfortunate. Absolutely. Yep.
All right, let's move on to Colorado.
All right, so we have the University of Utah is going to be on the road in Colorado this week, facing in a team which we penciled in to be a win at the start of the season.
Yeah,
but boy, were we wrong. The number 17th ranked Buffaloes are going to be trying to hold their second place in the conference, which is also surprising.
Yeah.
So far, 3 sentences in, man, and 3 surprises there.
I think they're actually third. I think they're third in the conference because they have the same record as K-State and they lost to K-State. So I think K-State's technically second in the conference right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, okay. So yep. So they're technically third
in the conference. Yeah. But right. I mean, obviously top of the conference battling for a conference championship spot. So yeah, this is huge for them.
Yeah. Vegas actually has Colorado winning the conference this year,
which is insanity.
Yeah. So Colorado has won 6 of their last 7. With a 3-week winning streak to cap it off with a 41-27 win over Texas Tech last weekend.
Yep.
Utah has lost 5 straight, first time in over a decade, by the way. 2013 was the last time the Utah has lost 5 straight. Colorado is favored by 11.5 points in this one, with the over-under line being at 46.5. With Rose and Keefe both out for the rest of the season, I'm not seeing a great path to victory here for the Utes. What do you got?
I totally think the Utes can win this game.
I love to hear it, man.
I think this is probably one of the more winnable ball games that I have actually looked at this year.
Okay.
Statistically, at least.
All right. Run your line.
Yeah. So Colorado currently has the 68th ranked defense and the 58th ranked offense. Colorado has they've obviously lost 2 games this year. Both of the teams that they lost against had defenses ranked 35th or higher. The best defensive team that they've beat this year so far was the 58th ranked UCF team. So every team that they've beaten or every team they've won against has a 58th ranking or lower. And we're not talking like maybe a little bit lower. Colorado State, one of their wins was 104th ranked defense. Baylor has the 74th ranked defense. UCF is 58th. That's the best team they've beaten this year. Arizona has the 95th. Cincinnati has the 87th. And Texas Tech, that they just beat, has the 124 ranked defense. They have not beat a team with a 35 or higher ranked defense yet this year. Both teams that they played, and Nebraska beat them pretty good, right? Nebraska beat them by a touchdown or so. They have the 16th ranked defense, which is a little bit lower than Utah's current defensive ranking. Kansas State has the 34 ranked defense, also a loss for them. This Colorado team, as good as they look on paper so far, have not played very good defensive units so far this year. And they have not played one as good as Utah's.
Okay. So what week are we in? We're in week 11, right?
Yeah, week 11.
Week 11, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I had to go back and watch some of the videos, but when it comes to this situation here, I don't think the Utes ranking on defense has really held up this year.
I think the Utes defense has looked great. I think it's Utah's problem this year has been the ability to generate points on offense. They haven't given up a ton of points.
Right. My point being is that each of these teams, we come in here every week saying these teams haven't played a team as good defensively as Utah, has beaten Utah every single week.
I agree.
So I don't know. I think Utah's inability on offense to stay on the field is causing this Utah defense to run down in the second half and getting tired.
But the Utah defense is still going up statistically every single week, though.
Well, yeah,
it's still going higher statistically every single week.
Yeah, because they're holding their opponents' points per game to below their averages every single week, and not every team's doing that. But I don't know, man. Like I love the idea, and I also kind of know that if this Utah defense, this team is 5 receivers deep. They have 5 wide receivers with a touchdown pass this year. 5.
That's impressive.
5, right? That Tyler kid, just ridiculous. That two-way kid that they have on their team, he's absolutely insane. The Sanders kid's thrown
over. You're Travis Hunter, so you're talking about, right?
Oh, I said Tyler, right? Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
Travis Hunter. Sorry,
yeah.
Gosh. And then we also had the Sanders kid who's thrown over 2,800 yards this year.
He's a 6th ranked quarterback in the country.
Yeah, with over 2,800 yards so far this season alone, and I think 24 touchdown passes, if I read that correctly.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think the Utes' path to victory is if they can figure out a way to disrupt their passing game. They haven't had to run the ball all year because they really didn't need to, because they've got so many options to throw the ball to. You take that option out, you take the ability to take that long ball or take the ability to basically just pressure Sanders and take that out. I think that's the Utes' chance to win this one. But you got to force them to run the ball, because I just don't see any other way. Because I love the idea that Utah's defense is going to hold them, and I think they do. But the offensive line is going to have the game of their life at this one.
The thing is this Colorado defense is not very good. I mean, their 68th ranked defense is definitely not great. I mean, we played better defenses. I mean, BYU last week was a top 30 defense,
right? Which is
I feel like our offensive, it was a little bit different. With Brandon Rose versus what we've had with Isaac Wilson the last few weeks. But
sidebar, were you a little surprised to see BYU's defense that low?
I did, yeah. I mean, I said that last week that BYU's defense is better than their 28th ranking or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
I was a little surprised. Sorry, go ahead.
But I want to say Colorado has the 8th ranked passing offense in the country, which is not as good as the TCU offense that we faced a couple of weeks ago. We did a really good job shutting down the TCU offense in that game. They threw the ball, and obviously Utah loses that game. I'm aware, but it was more offensive struggles than it was defensive struggles. I worry that and TCU has a better ranked defense than Colorado does. So I think if we can get something going, Colorado does not have a very good running defense. Their rushing defense is only 73rd. 73rd in the country is their rushing defense, particularly. They give up roughly 150 yards a game, which is right at what Utah's average rushing attack is for the year this far. If Utah can have rushers for 150 yards, they can eat up enough clock ideally, if we can get a few passing plays in there. All I'm saying is that I think Utah has a path to victory on this one because I don't believe, because I do believe that Utah has a chance to hold this team. And I think they score less points than they do on average.
No, I agree with you on that one. I'm taking the under on the 45.
Yeah.
The 46.5. Definitely taking the under on this one. What Utah needs, man, is they need to win. They need to win big, and it's got to be a good win. And I think beating the conference favorites, according to Vegas, is a heck of a way to rebound off of a loss.
I could see Colorado overlooking this team.
Yeah, that's also a good point. I didn't think about the TCU part. That's a very good point on that. I think that's a great point that they have the ability to stifle the passing. If they do that here, I think that's a great option. The problem is here, the one way that the Utes are going to win this game, and this is the only way this is going to happen, they're going to have to completely change their offensive scheme if they're playing with a lead. If they get a lead, this whole passive thing where they just run the ball and, try and get to a first down and run the clock down, that's got to change, man. They need to go for the jugular throughout the whole game. Yeah,
4 quarters. And I think if the Utes can get some offensive momentum, the fact is what they need to do is they need to scheme the offense around Isaac Wilson. We know he's a quarterback. He's going to get all the first team reps. Scheme the offense so that it benefits him, so that he has some short crossing routes, so that he has some deep balls to keep the defense honest. I said this exact same thing last week about whoever we were putting in there, scheme the offense to the quarterback, and instead of trying to plug a quarterback into the offense that you already have. It was successful with Brandon Rose in the first half of that game.
It was.
And I think if they can do the same thing this year, this Colorado team, yes, they have talent. They have good players all over the field. Travis Hunter is great. Guess what? He does you no good if you're not throwing the ball at him.
No.
You know what I mean? And yes, he's great in one-on-one coverage, but I mean, I'm going to put any of our cornerbacks up against him and make a bunch of targets to him. Like we're going to have enough pressure on Shedeur Sanders because their line they're good, but they're not vastly improved from last year. He's still getting sacked. And if we can put some pressure on him and force up a couple of balls, I think the Utes have a chance. I am a true red Utah fan. My prediction is going to be Utah 24, Colorado 17.
No, you're not. You're a Utah fan? What? This is completely new information. We have a couple comments here. One from Joshua Brandt saying, I have to call the win for Colorado. Just looking really tough. Yeah. We also have the Pacific Northwest Ute. Thanks for joining us again, man. Great to have you back. Let's see. Buffs are not only
have receivers, they have receipts.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got all them receipts. Every one of them on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. Dude. Oh, gosh. Yeah. I don't know, man. I would really love to see a post-game interview with Coach Prime when they're taking a loss to Utah, who only has one conference win against the worst team in the conference. Yeah. I just would love to see that.
I feel like Colorado has beaten, like their record is not great for what they've actually done.
No, right? They're beating on the teams they're
beating teams that they should, right? They beat North Dakota State, who's a fantastic FCS team. They're just still an FCS team. They beat Colorado State, which is a great Mountain West team, but they're still a Mountain West team.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Baylor, who's 5-4. UCF, who's 4-6. They beat Arizona, who's 3-6. Cincinnati, who's 5-4. Texas Tech, who's 6-4. They haven't played, and I get you can only play the teams on your schedule.
Right.
You don't do the scheduling. But Utah is I do believe a better team than what their record says. I think they have more talent all over the field, and I think they can pull this one out. And I think Colorado could very easily look past this game because they have some tough ones still scheduled.
No, I agree there, man. I think it's really funny when you look at it. I thought this Colorado schedule for the rest of the year, at the beginning of the year, I thought was going to be a gauntlet.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing when you look at it, 11 weeks into the season, you're like, yeah, no, not really.
Yeah.
So the chance to get a loss for them right now is definitely going to be Utah. I really like the idea. I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you. I hope your prediction holds true.
And also, Colorado historically has lost a game, won 3, lost a game, won 3. There's a pattern. They're staged for a loss, and it's going to be to Utah,
folks. That's got to be it. That's it. That's the key stat to the game, guys. Make your line there. We're not a betting channel, though.
That's what we're here. What we're doing. That's what we're here for.
We don't
place all your bets based on what Darren says. That's what I'd recommend. That's what I do.
But yeah, no, I do agree that they're going to go that the over underline. I'm taking the under on that one, but I'm taking Colorado to win this one. But I would really love for the Utes to pull this one out.
Go Utes.
They need to get a win and really kind of step up and kind of not salvage the season, but give them something to be happy about.
I predict an Isaac Wilson breakout game.
I love it. Make it happen. Put it out there, folks. Put it out there, Utes fans. Let's make it happen for sure. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about University of Utah versus BYU. All the conversation we talked about. We're 45 minutes into this thing, man. We
just saw that 45 minutes of Utah.
Oh my gosh.
There was a lot of stuff to talk about in Utah football.
Yeah, we're 45 minutes. Oh, geez. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about BYU versus Utah, about Mark Harlan's comments after the game and his response and the conference response. We'd love to hear from you on that kind of stuff as well. And let us know your prediction for University of Utah versus the Colorado Buffaloes. We'd love to hear from you on that. Let us know in the comments down below. As a reminder, folks, this channel just hit 1,000 subscribers. We are about 1,100 somewhere around there.
Yeah, 1,140, I think, today.
Yeah, once we hit it, now we've hit 1,000 subscribers, we're giving away the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to you folks. If you have not yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you do not miss out on the giveaway. 5 subscribers are each going to earn $100 each. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway there. All right. You want to go ahead and pivot on over to talk a little bit about the Utah Hockey Club?
Yeah. I mean, we probably should now that we're 50 minutes into the episode.
Yeah, we probably should get to it, shall we?
Yep.
All right. Let's go ahead and break down your Utah Hockey Club. All right, man. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your Utah Hockey Club. Where do you want to start with this? Do you want to start with the puppy?
Let's start with the puppy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start with the good news. Let's talk about the puppy. So as you so let's start with the puppy there. So the University
of Utah Hockey Club.
There, exactly. The Utah Hockey Club has adopted a 13-week-old black lab. The pup's name is Archie. He is now the team's official dog. The team has partnered with America's Vet Dog, a nonprofit that provides service dogs to veterans and first responders. What do you think about Archie?
Dude, Archie is one of the cutest puppies I've ever seen in my whole life.
I mean, I'm all for the labs.
Yeah, he's adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, we have our own show dog as well.
We do. We're still working on training him to sit in my chair so that Darren, if I'm ever late, Darren can just sit Chaco in the seat and everything's good to go.
Yeah, that's great. We're gonna get there. Folks. But yeah, absolutely love the fact that there is. I'm sorry, we gotta jump into this. What is this? Hear me out. Taylor Swift, NFL plus puppy plus NHL.
Taylor Swift and NHL and NFL equals puppy and NHL.
I like it. But yeah, I mean, so what's your take on this whole puppy thing? Do you think it's a nice little cause there?
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, the fact is they pretty much take him on for like X amount of weeks. They work on all of his basic commands and they donate him to a veteran that pretty much gets the puppy free of cost. So it's really cool that they're doing it. He's the team mascot. They're going to have him like out in the arena for one of the upcoming home games so you can meet the puppy and everything. So
yeah, it's gonna be overstimulation like crazy though for that poor puppy.
Yeah. He's gonna be going nuts.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Gonna be great though. I love it. I love these kind of causes there because it kind of, really, means it, kind of gives something back. I really like it.
Absolutely.
I like it. So, yeah, that's great. But yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and pivot on over to a little bit more about the Utah Hockey Club. And well, it was brought up in the comments here, and we're going to put the comment on the screen right here. So
in post, not in pre.
Yeah, in post. So whoever's editing this video, it's probably going to be me. You're going to have to find that comment and put it up there. But we had a comment there on our last episode there where it talks about Utah Hockey Club has a bit of a goalie problem. Everybody was talking on, including us, that Connor Ingham was a great goalie, and I still stand by that. But when it comes to the goalie problem, there seems to be an issue there.
Yeah. No, he has really struggled. Currently Connor Ingram's got an .879 save percentage, which I mean is technically a little bit below his career average. His career average is actually .903. So he's statistically really struggled. He's got 39 goals against. His expected goals against is 30.88, which gives him a difference of 0.81, which is one of the worst percentages in the league.
Wow.
So I mean, their backup goalie, Karel Vejmelka, he's got an .899 save percentage currently, which is right at his career save percentage. He's usually around .898. But Vejmelka has, I mean, he's only got 10 goals against him with an expected goals against of 10.27. So he's technically a positive goalie right now for goals on versus goals against. Yeah. So
Okay.
he's actually played a little bit better. Obviously, Ingram's fielded a lot more shots.
Right.
He's played in 12 games versus Vejmelka's 4 games. But just to reference some of those numbers, the best save percentage in the NHL right now is from Anthony Stolarz. Stolarz, yeah, he's got a .925 save percentage, and he's got 23 goals against with a net of 6.1 saves above expected. So,
okay, to break that down, out of 10 shots on the goal, he's saving 9.25 of them.
Correct. Yeah,
which is insane.
Exactly.
Jeez. Margin of error there is not huge.
Not huge. Yeah. And then and he's a net 6.1 versus saves expected, right? So shots that were open or, like pretty much a defender coming straight at him, like, oh, this is an expected goal.
Right.
He saves those too. I mean, he's plus 6.1 on saves expected. So that's obviously the best goalie in the league currently statistically. So
yeah.
I don't know. When I'm looking at this, I feel like some of the issue, yes, we have a goalie issue, right? Connor Ingram has struggled. He's again a little bit below his career average, but the fact is Utah is also really struggling to give him any offensive support.
Yeah, on the blue line there, we're having a bit of an issue though too.
Yeah,
like there's other issues like beyond just the goalie. Like the defense has been hammered, so that's going to also play into it.
Doesn't help. I mean, they've been battling injuries all year.
Yeah, I would say well, before you get into that, there when it comes to the team, they're ranked 25th in the league when it comes to goal average per game.
Yeah,
GAG, right? Just for those of you who don't know, there are 32 teams in the league. So when you're 25th, that's not great.
You're not in the top half of anything.
You're not doing well there. Yeah. So Utah has allowed 422 shots on goal so far with 55 goals total scored. That is a save percentage of .883, which is good for 27th in the league. We are also 24th in the league in saves with only 371. Now the trade deadline is quite a ways away, March 8th. But I don't know if there's a need for this team to make the trade right now, but there's definitely some opportunities there to make some changes in the pipes between the pipes there. Is that something you're looking for, or which direction are you going on that? Do you think they make a change there, or do you think?
I don't know if they will make a change because Connor Ingram has been really solid, and yeah, he's a little bit below his career average, but when your defense, like we just said, when your defense is struggling as much as they have, you can't put it all on a goalie when he's fielding, 40 and 50 shots a game to have the highest save percentage in the league. I didn't write this down, but I noticed it when I was pulling my statistics, but Vejmelka has like one of the fewer attempts against him in the league as well. Ooh. So he has some great defensemen that are helping absorb some of those shots. So he's not taking as many. And it really helps when you have some, a great blue line to help make sure there's not as many shots at you in the game to help your percentage go up.
No, that makes sense.
So,
yeah, I mean, I was looking at the option, and there's a few players out there that they could potentially trade for. John Gibson from the Anaheim Ducks is most likely to be traded, according to the New York Times. He's coming off having his appendix out, so he's only been back out for one game since. His career goals per game average is 2.89. That's coming off of a bad season. He's coming off a bad season last year where it was 3.54, which would be worse than what our current goal per average is. But his career average is definitely lower than that. You also have Kapu Konkonen with the San Jose Sharks. He's a free agent after this season. He has a 3.34 goal average there, so that one's going to be a no for me. He's likely to be traded, but that's not a net positive. That's more of a lateral move there.
Yeah.
But the one I want to see there, if they do make a change on that, is I would have to say I'd probably wanted them to go after Marc-Andre Fleury, he's my pick there for that. He's been in the league for about 20 seasons now. However, he's since 2016 to 2007, he has an average goals per game under 3 in the last since 2016, 2017. He's been under 3 goals per game.
Yeah.
And he's played in over 65 games per season those years since then.
Yeah, that's great.
Not bad for a guy who's been in the league for 20 years. And he's going to be a free agent I think this upcoming season. I don't know. I think that one's going to be a short-term rental. I think only like one more year on this deal after there. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's some options to trade for that's going to be available, especially coming closer to the trade deadline. But I'd have to agree with you there. I don't necessarily think the issue is necessarily going to be Connor Ingram is the end-all be-all. Change out the goalkeeper and we're good. I think it's a little bit more with the fact that the injury on the blue line there on the defense is just causing a bit of transition that we're not used to. Not necessarily we're not used to, but we haven't had to really have a chance for this defensive team to really gel, especially with the trade that they made from the Flyers there. So I think it's going to be a little bit more time for this defense to solidify. And when we get players back healthy, I could see that 3.4 dropping down. And like you mentioned, a little bit more help on offense. You know?
Yeah, and I mean, to go a little bit more onto offense, though, I mean, this team's really struggled. Yeah, I mean, in the last 5 games, they've only scored 6 goals. With 2 of those games being shutouts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they got shut out against Winnipeg and Nashville. So they've just got to find a way to score. I mean, some of these goals would really help our guy. And then, I mean, it's a lot easier to be relaxed in the net when you know you've got a 2-score lead versus, hey, we haven't scored yet. And, you know, you've taken 15, 16, shots at net. You're like, whoa, geez. So, we started really strong offensively. This Utah Hockey Club looked really good. I mean, they scored 11 goals in the first 3 games, and all of those games were wins. So, my final note on that is that in games that we scored 2 or more goals, we actually are 6-4.
See, that's kind of So I don't know, man. I think it's a little too early to blow the whistle there on the goalie and really point it. Yeah, is he playing below average? Yes. But I definitely think there's a lot more to it simply than that. I believe we can get closer to the 3 number if we get a little bit more help on the blue line, get a little bit more cohesion on the defensive side, and we just do a little bit better on offense, man. I don't know if it's just the offensive scheme that they're running.
Young guys. We have all really young guys.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a really young, inexperienced team. This team wasn't supposed to be great this year. It's really hard because it's our first. It's this state's first year having a hockey team, and we wanted them to just blow up and be great. And
we just
the first 3 games was fantastic.
We just wanted a team in Utah to root for.
Yeah,
a professional team in Utah that we could root for, AJ.
And maybe just win. Maybe just win anything. You know what I mean? Like any team in Utah, if they could just win anything.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Anything.
That'd be great. Yeah, I think it'd be really fun to see this Utah team make the playoffs. But again, it's not necessarily in the cards, like you mentioned when we went to the welcoming event you mentioned there to temper expectations for this team, and I told you don't be crazy, they're going to make the playoffs first year. So we'll see who wins it on that one. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you folks on that one for sure. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Are we right on that? Do you think it's really a bigger problem than just simply the goalie? Do you agree with us that there's more to it than that? Like there's got to be issues on the blue line and we got to score more than what'd you say, like 5 goals in the last 11 games or something crazy like that? Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. We've scored 6 scores. We've scored 6 goals in the last 5 games.
Oh, wow. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it, folks. Yeah. For you folks that are watching this on the main channel, DNA Sports Recap, we did launch a channel specifically for the Utah hockey team, which is called Utah Hockey DNA. You can see the logo on the screen right here. If you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, that channel will be linked in the description below. We also have some sick new gear in our merch store with this logo on it, so make sure you check it out and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. We will be giving away one of those new Utah hockey sweaters once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that giveaway.
Absolutely.
All right. So should we go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about your Utah Jazz?
Oh, I'm always ready to talk Utah Jazz basketball, my friend.
Yeah. So we've got another comment here from Alex McKinnon. You should have named the puppy Puck, though. Yeah, they kind of missed out on an opportunity, especially it's a black lab.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a missed opportunity.
Solid point.
Solid point, Alexander. Solid point. All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over. Whoop.
Oh, Darren broke the computer.
I did.
We're back.
We're good to go. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your Utah Jazz. Just freaking nailing those transitions, man.
Boom.
So great. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the Utah Jazz and the Emirates NBA Cup, shall we?
Yeah, this is really lame. this mid-season tournament, I think is so lame.
Oh, that's great, dude. That's gonna be. Oh, that's a great start to a video, dude.
It's horrible. Like, does anybody watch it and be like, oh, we're gonna like?
Yeah, Lakers fans.
Yeah, because they won last year. But I'm saying, like, do you think any of these players are really like trying to win any more like these games anymore because they're going to get a little cute trophy?
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, I do. You want to hear a quote from that? Keontae George.
I'd love to.
I have a quote here from Keontae George. It's almost like a fresh start when you play these NBA Cup games or whatever it's called now, George said. But yeah,
he really said that.
Yep.
Or whatever it's called. He doesn't even know. He's an NBA player.
He missed the press conference.
Yeah, missed it.
Missed the new branding opportunity there. Yes, but we got to go out into this game like we're 0-0. But I mean, let's be honest, we're playing for money. We all make all the money in the world, but who doesn't like a little extra money? That is a quote directly from Keontae George,
who is a 20-year-old kid.
He's playing on a rookie contract. So he's
playing on a rookie contract.
Yeah. We're in Group B, by the way, with teams of the Thunder, the Spurs, the Suns, and the defending Cup champion Lakers.
Yeah, so just the hardest group they had to put a team in there that everyone could just whoop on.
Yeah, like the Suns.
Yeah, when we just played the Suns.
I'm sorry, no, the Spurs. The Spurs. We'll beat the Spurs.
I sure hope so.
If we get a chance to play them in this tournament. But yeah, we'll get into that a little bit because we did get another win there for the Utes, for the Utah Jazz.
The Utes have not had a win.
The Utes have not had a win.
No, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah, it's
been like a month.
Yeah, yeah, we're still talking about it. We spent an hour on them already. We're still talking about it. But yeah, so anyway, so the first game was last night, and we lost our first game to the Suns. So that pretty much sinks it for us. I don't know. There's too many other wins we're going to get out of this group play between the Thunder and the Lakers that we can really kind of, turn this thing around. I don't know what you
especially think. A Phoenix team that didn't have Durant on the floor.
Well, when does Durant play?
But you know what I mean? Like when you see that Durant's not going to be on the floor, you're like, hey, I think we got a chance. No, we didn't. No. Utah actually didn't look bad in this game. They actually had some really nice runs. They had great production from John Collins, Colin Sexton. Kyle Filipowski really broke out of this game with 18 points in 23 minutes.
Don't steal my notes for tonight.
I actually feel like this team is getting a lot better at moving the ball. They obviously still have some work to do on decision making. They still throw some errant passes and throw some lazy passes where you're just like, what was that? Like, this is still an NBA game. But overall, I do think they really are actually getting a little bit better. I mean, that was a really competitive game against a really good Phoenix Suns team that has a lot of talent. I think some of my favorite part about some of these games has been only seeing Larry play right around 30 minutes a night.
Yeah.
So knowing that he's just kind of coasting, I'm okay losing these games. It's really not bad. But you want to make sure that we're not putting Laurie in any situation where he's going to get hurt and cost him the rest of a season. Or
yeah, we'll definitely get into the actual basketball. But is there any positive thing that you have about the tournament there that you'd like to mention? Because I have one.
Okay, go for it.
I think I like this year's court better.
Oh, our court this year is way better. That purple one last year was absolutely horrendous.
I like
it's the reason I didn't make the light purple.
Yeah. I like the court.
Yeah, our court looks good this year.
That's all I got.
Yeah,
I try to be positive on the show.
And last year didn't they have different uniforms for the tournament?
They did. No, they didn't. They just used their
city jerseys or
their
something.
Alternative jerseys that they had from the year before on that. Like they released them and they got lambasted. You're welcome, by the way, because we did that too. We said how stupid those ones that they were going to put out looked for sure.
Yeah, they were ridiculous.
Yeah, they were terrible. But yeah, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about, I think it's stupid. The tournament doesn't make any sense especially for this team. If your team has a chance to win it, then great. But, it's just a perfect Laker win, man, last year with that tournament. They won the bubble championship, conveniently the oldest team in the NBA won the championship where no one had to travel. Like that just kind of makes all the sense in the world, where they can all be on site and just, and then in this situation, the only title they have a chance to win was the one where nobody really cared that much about it. So perfect Lakers. I think I see the Lakers repeating this one, or I actually see the Bucks winning this tournament. One of the two. So that'd
be good either way.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters either way.
Yeah, because guess what? It still means just about nothing.
Yeah, I like what they're trying to do to try and bring in some type of viewership and increase the numbers.
Well, and the big thing is this part of the NBA season is usually really boring to watch because you don't have enough game or like data to actually see any trends or who's going to be good. So they're just like, we got to get more eyes in the league in the middle of the season.
Oh yeah, like if you're trying to talk like awards at this point, like who's your MVP, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't do any of that at this
20
point.
games into no, literally 10 games into the season.
10 games.
Yeah, you're not going to really have an idea who's going to be your MVP at this point.
Yeah.
Unlike some leagues.
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. Good call.
Solid pick.
Solid pick. Solid pick. Ooh, if I was to pick a preemptive MVP this year, who would I pick?
I'm going Nikola Jokic.
Solid choice. I'm going vote over Teague on that one, and I'm going to go with I think it's it.
Jason Tatum.
No, that's more of a correction, but I like that pick. I think they would do that, honestly. I do think they would do that. No, I think they're going to give it to oh gosh, what's his name? Oh my gosh, this is great streaming content right here.
Yeah, Darren.
Anyway, we're moving on.
Get it.
We're moving on.
Oh, we got a comment. NBA is running the Seinfeld challenge.
Seinfeld challenge.
I don't know what it means. I missed it.
What does it say? NBA
is running the Seinfeld challenge.
Seinfeld challenge. Soup Nazi. Which way are we going with that? Come on, Pacific Northwest. You just give us something on there. Josh was called the Joker as well. Yeah, gosh, I wish I could remember who I'm thinking of right now. Plays for Dallas.
You really?
It's not there, dude. It's just gone.
Luka Doncic?
Thank you, Luka. I'm going to pick Luka.
How did you miss Luka, man?
I don't know, man. I don't know. We spent an hour talking about U football, and I'm just spent already. I don't know.
You're like, I'm over it. Like, cut it off.
But yeah, when it comes to the Utah Jazz there, I really think with the key injury to Taylor Hendricks, it comes down to really one thing there is that they're going to figure out a way to fill those 28 minutes per game that he was getting. And it looks like the coach Hardy is going with young guys predominantly for this. I mean, there was one time where they played John Collins like ridiculous amounts of minutes. By the way, he's looking to be the best player on the team this year, which is scary enough.
No, that's great for us.
Yeah,
that's fantastic because what we needed John Collins to do was get some friggin' trade value.
We're not trading that contract, dude. No one's going to want that contract.
It's only one more year, though. That's what I'm saying. Is there's only one more year on that contract. Somebody will take it up if they think that
not just this year, but another year.
Correct. But if they think that Collins can add 34 minutes a night and add 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists in a game, even semi-consistently, why would you not soak it up?
You know who wants that? You know who wants that kind of player?
Anthony Edwards. Sorry, that's actually what Pacific Northwest commented. Anthony Edwards for MVP.
Oh, I like
which is a great pick, by the way. And then he also said Seinfeld challenge equals all about nothing.
Yeah, there you go. Nailed it. Like it. Because it's a show all about nothing.
Oh,
yeah,
we're the worst. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's awesome. I think the chance for that John Collins is playing well right now is great for the team. Not necessarily great for his trade value, but you know who really could use a player like that? The
Lakers.
No, the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah,
they have the fourth ranked. They have the fourth ranked defense right now, and there's nobody on that team that's taller than 6'7" right now.
Yeah,
so I think
6'9", 6'10". He's a good addition.
6'9".
Yeah, well, he's like 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, so he'd be a good addition.
Yeah, and he can shoot it too. I mean, he shot the three pretty bad, like a lot better than he has in the past this year.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just think it's how awesome is Golden State this year. By the way, talk about addition by subtraction there.
I did not realize that Buddy Hield was going to help that team so much.
I think it's an addition by subtraction.
You think so?
I think getting rid of
Clay just was the magic they needed.
Yeah, I mean, he was forcing shots, trying to reclaim. Oh, I'll show you guys. I'm still the player I was. Forcing bad shots, not playing in the offense, and was just chasing minutes, then moping on the bench, not shaking hands.
And I think some of that effect was from being a contract year because he was trying to show that he wanted to. I mean, because he said it blatantly, he wanted to retire in Golden State.
Oh yeah,
I don't blame him, but.
Should have took the smaller contract.
You have to exactly. If that is really what you want to do, then take a smaller contract and stay there and play.
Yeah.
Don't try to earn a bigger contract and think that they should owe you more money because all you did was drive all of your averages down.
He talked about like it was a disrespect the offer they gave him.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, this is a team that gave you a max contract while you were injured.
And then paid the whole thing the whole time you were injured.
Yeah. While
Like,
you were
you've
injured, they
been
gave you
hurt
a
two.
max contract.
Yeah. 2 full years you missed in a row.
Pretty sure this team did pretty well by it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so back to the Jazz. So getting back to the Utah Jazz there's basically 28 minutes a game they need to fill in, and they're filling a lot of it with Cody Williams and Kyle Filipowski. Now, you kind of peed all over my notes here earlier when I was talking about
You're
Kyle
welcome.
Filipowski and how his great performance against the Suns was. 18 points, shooting 64% shooting from the field there with 2 blocks, 2 assists, 6 boards, and 23 minutes to play, which is really great to see that come out of him. Cody Williams has had a couple of duds over the last couple of games, but has had some points and some solid minutes in games where they have had a shot to win, which to me is the key. He is putting up 10 points or more and having 20 minutes or greater in games that they've actually won, which I think is important for that young kid. Keontae still seems to be very streaky to me. To the start of this season, he's had some great shooting nights, and he's followed those up by nothing other than a bad shooting night.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a great shooting night and then a meh. It's been awesome to complete garbage for 2 games, right? Then puts up another great night.
Yeah.
Offensively. So to really kind of boil that down, I think Kyle Filipowski and Cody Williams are really kind of the 2 that we need to keep a close eye on in these next, 20 to 30 games to see what they're going to do with those players and what we're expecting to see out of those 2.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I mean, Kyle Filipowski he looks really comfortable doing all the things that he does well. He did them well in college. He continues to do them well in the NBA. He's a great at scooping up rebounds. He's a natural scorer. He's shooting just over 38% from 3, which is insane for a dude that's 6'11", even though he's got short arms. He's a little T-Rex. But he's averaging 4 rebounds a game, just under 2 assists, which is fantastic. This guy could realistically turn out to be one of the steals from this draft. And it's just insane to think that he slipped all the way to the second round.
Yeah, well, there's reasons for that, why he slipped so far in the second round. And if you're not from around here, you're going to see it one way. And if you're from around here, you're going to see it behind other lines. But the thing about him is I think he's going to be a great role player in the NBA. Mm-hmm. You want to know my comp for him?
What?
My comp for this guy in the NBA who's currently had a great season, actually spent some time with the Jazz, Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, I could see him being a Kelly Olynyk for sure.
Yeah, I think that's basically what I see him being, man. And I think he'd be a great contribution to this team and a winning team, mm-hmm. and providing some quality minutes off the bench there. Sadly, though, I think the same about Keontae.
I'm not sold on Keontae yet.
I don't think he's obviously, the jury's still out on how well he's going to be, but we know this at this point, that he's not our next Donovan Mitchell.
Well, Donovan Mitchell's a generational player, though.
Is he though? Because there's really like 6 players in the league that are exactly like him.
But there's very few players that step onto an NBA court for the first time and just absolutely blow it up for 40 games in a row.
That's a good point.
Like there's just 10. You know what I mean? Maybe, right?
Very good point.
The dude was subbed in the first game because of a late injury, and just he hasn't been bad since he stepped onto an NBA court. He's just, you don't find that every day. Keontae George has a much more natural progression through being a rookie, through being a second-year player, through struggling, through not having a ton of talent around him, because Donovan Mitchell also stepped on the court with a really good Utah Jazz team that had a lot of NBA vets that didn't need the ball in their hands. I mean, Joe Ingles is not a preliminary ball handler. He doesn't need the ball to be effective. Rudy Gobert, exact same thing. They ended up getting Bojan Bogdanovic, who's a fantastic shooter, but not a preliminary ball handler. Mm-hmm. Mike Conley is a pass first point guard.
We didn't have him though until like 2 years into.
But you see what I'm saying, though. Yeah. He had these
came into like a perfect scenario.
He had these great rosters that we needed someone to primarily score the basketball, and that was exactly what he needed to do. Keontae George, we don't even know Keontae's role on this team yet, because we don't know which one of these guys is going to be our preliminary scorer. We have Lauri Markkanen. That's the only piece that we're sure we're going to have.
Right.
We have Lauri. What is Keontae going to do, and where does he add value to this team year over year, and where does he fit? Does he need to be an assist? Does he need to be a pass first point guard? We just don't know. And I think
you don't even know he's going to be a point guard.
He's got, well, exactly. I mean, he's got so many raw tools that I think you just have to you have to analyze all of these games with a grain of salt because he's still just getting his feet under him playing NBA basketball. I get it. He was out there last year. I get he doesn't look great, but on the nights that he looks good, he's a starting NBA point guard.
Really good.
You know what I mean? Like
he looks really good.
He's got the size. He's the nights that he looks good. He's good enough at scoring to be out there with starting units. So there's going to be bright spots and there's going to be dark spots. That's just how it works. Me personally, I think I'm a little more concerned with Cody Williams so far.
Really?
Because he's kind of been the exact opposite of Kyle Filipowski up to this point. He really has. Kyle Filipowski has a really good idea of how he can be effective for this team every single minute he's on the floor. Go get rebounds, make a good pass. And Cody Williams is the exact opposite. He
looks a little lost sometimes.
He's got great size and great understanding of the game, but being a rookie in this league is really hard, and he's making it look even harder than that because I need to see him take open shots when he has them. I need to see him make quick decisions and to move or shoot the ball, right? Like it's almost like it's getting stuck with him and he doesn't know, do I need to make a pass or and then it's too late.
He's covered. Yep.
You have a half a second. Quinn Snyder's, and I know that he's a past Utah Jazz coach, but some of the best days watching Jazz basketball in the last 5 years with Quinn Snyder coaching. And the fact is his whole offense was centered around, you have a half a second to pass it or shoot it. That's all there is to it. He doesn't know whether he needs to pass or shoot it until he's scanned the floor. He's not scanning the floor before he passes it or before he catches it, right? So he's got to catch it and then scan. And in the NBA, you just can't do it. You don't have that much time. The players are too big. They're too fast. They're too strong. And everybody is as good or a better athlete than you are. Mm-hmm. That's all there is to it. You may have been one of the best 10 prospects in the college and the NBA draft. You are not even one of the 10 best rookies that are on the floor right now.
Right.
So he needs to find his role on this team. I think there's without a doubt a role for this guy. He's a freak. He can shoot the ball, but I think he needs that direction. I think coach needs to tell him, other than just sit in the corner and space the floor, and if you catch it, make a decision. Like, what is his role in this team? Because I'd be curious. I'm just really curious to know how they plan to grow Cody as this year continues to go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm a little bit more bullish on Cody Williams, which is really weird because before the season started, you were more bullish on him than I was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really kind of funny to see that pivot a little bit. But I think you're seeing some of the things that I was concerned about, and I think I'm now starting to see kind of what you were talking about because Hardy, the jury's still out on Hardy on how well he develops young talent.
Right. That's a really, really tough thing to do as an NBA coach.
Yeah. Quinn Snyder was amazing at it.
Every single guy that came into the program got good.
Yeah. So we got to really kind of give him some time to see how he's going to choose to develop Cody Williams.
Mm-hmm.
If not, we're going to need to keep him out there long enough just to develop a trade piece. This is the problem. We're year 3 in this rebuild, man, and we have no clue what this team looks like outside of Larry Markkinen.
No, we got
Absolutely
Laurie.
No clue.
That's it. We got Laurie.
You know, at this point, last time we had a little bit of understanding on that when we got rid of Ennis DeCanter and his freedom as what he's known now, Ennis Cantor and his freedom. And, Derek Favors was a role and all these people played their roles. And when that team was gone and then Gordon Hayward was gone and we were like, okay, crap, now what? We had Donovan Mitchell came in and just kind of ride the ship right away. And we were able to become a playoff team year 1 and win a game, right?
Yep.
But even that rebuild was like 2 years until we actually became a contender in the year.
Before we were like the best team in the NBA.
Right.
I mean, in the regular season. Yeah.
Which was unfortunate because I think that was the year where everybody kind of gave up on each other. But when it comes to this, we're now in year 3 and we still have no idea other than, hey, we got Larry. And then we've got all these draft prospects. We got all these young rookies.
Did you just call him Larry?
No. Did I say Larry?
You just said, hey, we got Larry.
Larry.
Larry Markkinen.
Larry Markkinen. Sorry, we had somebody in the comments do that once too. I'm like, dude, come on, get past it. You're getting
really technical here.
Getting really a little too technical for a guy in Utah. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, the dude's from Finland. Give us a break on his name.
Yeah, sorry. We have Larry Markkinen. Outside of him, we literally have no idea who's on this team.
Yeah, totally agree.
So again, I just think it's a lot. I think we need to give Cody Williams a bit of a shot, and we also need to give Coach Hardy a chance to see how he's going to develop things. We'll see. I think we're asking too much of a rookie in his first year that wasn't a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he was. He was number 10.
Oh, that's right. He was 10.
He was a top 10 pick.
For some reason, I thought we were picked 12. But you're right.
No.
He was a top 10.
10.
Okay. Then I have a little bit of cause for concern.
Yep, we're screwed. We're screwed. Give up on him. Trade him.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about the Utah Jazz so far. What do you need to see out of those two? Primarily those two, because those are the ones getting the minutes that are available due to injuries. So we want to hear from you. What do you think about Cody Williams? What do you think about Kyle Filipowski in this team and how they're performing? Once again, folks, we did launch the channel specifically for your Utah Jazz content called Utah Jazz DNA. This is a channel where all of our Jazz content will be posted first. So if you have not yet, jump over that channel, check it out. If you're watching this on that channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so you miss out on any Jazz content. We will be giving away one of those stick new Utah Jazz Road Mountain Black jerseys. Probably didn't say that right. Once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that giveaway.
Do it.
All right, so let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball, huh?
Yeah, we should.
Do you want to talk more Utes football? So we can get into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can complain all day. We just lost to BYU.
All right, let's talk Major League Baseball. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your Major League Baseball, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a tweet that was put out by Bob Nightingale. Did you see this tweet?
Yeah.
Did you see the actual tweet for it though?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find it. You want to go ahead and break it down?
Yeah, I mean, so it's Roki Sasaki has
Sasaki.
Roki Sasaki. I'm going to say that was not autocorrect. That was me mistyping it. Okay. Because I spelled it correctly. Burrow. I spelled it correctly. Burrow. Roki Sasaki posted to the world that he would be coming to America.
Yes. So do you know what it's like when a player is posted in Major League Baseball?
I do not.
Well, it's not necessarily the player that's being posted. And for some reason, I can't get the tweet from Bob Nightingale, but basically it said the roundabouts is that Bob Nightingale tweets that Roki Sasaki has been officially posted to come to Major League Baseball in 2025. All 30 teams are going to be in on him, and all 30 teams are under the understanding that he will sign with the Dodgers. So it's basically the gist of the tweet there. But so essentially what happens when a player is posted, right? That basically means that the Japanese team that he's on right now, the Marines, own the rights to him as a player, right? Before he turns 25. If he's 25, right, he can then enter as a free agent into Major League Baseball. And that's why you got the Yamamoto deal, the 12-year, $380 million. You know, he is only 23. So he has to do the same thing that Shohei Ohtani did. He has to. The only thing he's allowed to do is sign a minor league contract with whatever international pool of money that the teams have available. Okay. Each team has a pool of it. They can trade for international talent, sign international talent, from wherever, Latin America, Japan, Korea, doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
You have a pool of money you can sign players for. If their rights are owned by a team like Japan, they get 20% of whatever the contract is valued at the time where he is posted.
Okay.
So that's what it means by posting. So if he signs before in the next 30 days, the Dodgers have the most international pool of money available.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. So if he signs with anybody, I believe the Dodgers have 2.8 million. So they would basically get like something like 400,000 or something like that from the Dodgers if he signed. However, if they wait until after that and the moratorium of the waiting time is passed and it's past December 15th where you can sign, the Dodgers don't have as much money anymore.
Okay.
So and then all the teams become available and stuff like that. So, but basically, so it's kind of funny how that's basically why he says all teams are going to think the Dodgers, because he's heavily linked to the Dodgers. The Dodgers front office have been out to visit him several times. He has strong ties to Yamamoto and Ohtani.
And just to give a little background for anybody that might be watching that doesn't know about Roki Sasaki, this dude's been described by some as the quote unquote LeBron James of Japanese baseball since his junior year of high school, and is widely considered to be one of the best pitchers in the world under the age of 25.
Okay, so he's going to be a tremendous flopper then in the league.
He's just gonna, the ball gets hit near him, he's just gonna go down.
Nice. Yeah, no, absolutely. He's got the best raw talent of anybody his age ever coming out of Japan, period.
Yeah.
Yamamoto signed this ridiculous contract, right? Because he was the best talent coming out of Japan. He's won the Cy Young Award over there 3 years in a row. This guy was dominating. This kid is 2 years younger than him.
Yeah.
And has better raw stuff than Yamamoto.
Yeah.
So you can imagine getting a talent like that.
Yeah. We're talking like 102 mile an hour fastball.
Yes.
85 mile an hour changeup, like insane pitcher. I was watching some of the stuff when I was researching. I was like, how do you hit anything he's throwing?
This kid is 23 years old, man.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And any team can get him for a minor league contract.
Maybe he plays in the minors next year.
He won't be playing for any team. But yeah, so anyway, all 30 teams are up for him there. Everybody's linking him to the Dodgers. And I don't know if this is one of those things where it's just a whole lot of like everybody's linking to the Dodgers because one person said that and everybody's just parroting the same narrative, or if they're just basically just taking there's 2 Japanese players from his team on that team. So yeah, he's going to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, he also said that, what's his name? Yu Darvish from the Padres is one of his mentors. So he's got a good chance going there. Sidebar, if he signed before the moratorium there, like before December 15th, the Padres actually owe international money. So he's probably not going to be available. That's not going to be an option. But if they wait till after that, then they'll have the same amount of money as everybody else. But yeah, so I don't know, man. This is exciting news, man. This is a player that a lot of teams wanted. Can you imagine adding that kind of Cy Young level talent to your team on a vet minimum deal?
No.
I mean, not vet minimum, sorry, on a rookie scale contract.
Yeah.
Where you're going to have like 5 years of arbitration for this kid.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like you basically get Paul Skeens, on
a $2.8 million deal.
who's 2 years younger.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. And yeah, I'd love to hear where people are getting this connection from that he's going to the Dodgers, because I hear a lot of smoke about that, but I haven't heard like anything that's actually linking him to, like, there's no source to it. It seems to be all people saying, people familiar with the team say this, and so I'm kind of like, I don't know if that's really confirming anything, or if it's
if you're a young pitcher coming over and you get to choose a team to go to, do you not choose a team that just won the World Series and has 2 Japanese players on it?
Yeah. So if you really think, fair point. If you've got, you're the best young talent in Japan, and
the Dodgers need pitching.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Dodgers, next year, the Dodgers pitching are going to be insane, but just like last year, probably they're all going to fall off anyway. But so when it comes to the MPB there, the Marines, have him, and he's going to basically transform. But here's the best part about it. If he joins the Dodgers are going to have Ohtani pitching and Yamamoto pitching next year. The Dodgers are already going to be on a 6-man rotation already. That's what they do in Japan. It's a 6-man rotation.
Right.
You're going to have 2 players that have been in the league for at least a year already. They're going to be able to help you out. And you also have a team that already knows how to market you off the field dollars to a Japan audience.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that all the other 29 teams are going to have to rediscover, invent the wheel, and how they're going to market you to both an American and Japanese audience. This is a team that's already done that twice.
Yeah.
So you're off the field money. The best chances are going to be with the biggest team that practically already owns Japan. Let's face it,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of like a no-brainer for him, both on the field and off the field, to make that kind of decision, because you already have the 6-man rotation. You already have all these other things in place. So I don't know. I think it makes good sense for him to join the Dodgers, but I haven't seen.
You're just shaking in your space boots for them to announce that he's coming to the Dodgers?
No. I don't know, man. I mean, as far as any team who doesn't really need him, it's the Dodgers, but yeah, it's the right fit for the player though.
Right.
If that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, and I can just hear it already. The Dodgers, they can't keep doing this, blah, 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 Like, anybody who watched the Dodgers this year knows that team didn't do a lick of anything offensive, like from pitching. Like we had more starting pitchers than any team in National League history that year.
Yeah. So, especially Holstaff.
Yeah. Johnny Holstaff was on it, man. He was on it. But yeah, so he's posted. We're going to see him come to the Major League Baseball. We want to hear from you folks in the comments down below. Let us know what you think. If you're a Dodgers fan, let us know. Do you think he lands with the Dodgers? If you're a fan of a different team, let us know where you think he's going to land. We'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Let us know what you think about Roki Sasaki and him posting and going to be in Major League Baseball next year.
Yep, crazy.
All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about. Let's dive into. Oh man, let's talk about the man of the hour, shall we? Actually, before we get into that, I want to talk. We have an update we need to get to.
Tropicana Field.
Yes, we got to talk about Tropicana.
Let's do that first. I was going to say because
This is a series.
This is a series.
We've done a few videos on Tropicana Field here, and
yeah,
none of them made them solo videos because it's the Rays and they don't get views. But we need to talk about Tropicana Field because we're deep invested into this one.
We are.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and break it down, the report there on what we got from Tropicana.
Okay, so it was announced. I found an article today that Tropicana Field can be fixed, and it will be ready for the 2026 MLB season for the low price of $56 million.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. I mean, it opened
Great
in 1990. News. This field is the fact is the 2026 season is great. It's going to take them 1.5 years to fix this thing.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I want to get to. So these numbers are actually substantially lower numbers than we were expecting.
Right.
We were expecting over $100 million and taking 3 or 4 years to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know it's only $56 million and literally just basically one season.
Right.
What do you do if you're the Rays? Do you do it?
Well, I mean, the MLB came out and pretty much said that they want the Rays to stay in Tampa Bay. They don't want them to relocate. They don't want them to get all crazy with it. Some of this money is going to be covered by, you know what I mean, insurance. Like, obviously, there's going to be an insurance plan on the stadium. And plus, there's going to be like FEMA money that goes back into it as well.
Did you see about if they give them any FEMA money, I'll be so pissed.
Yeah, they're going to get
this
some.
Is a team that's worth billions of dollars.
Yeah, reimburse. It's like in the article, they will get reimbursements from FEMA.
Oh my gosh, there's families that are still floating that need that money. But anyway, so when it comes to this, though, yes, 56 million, about 30 million of it's going to be paid by insurance, which is funny because did you realize the year before that they just changed their insurance policy to give them less coverage for a natural disaster?
Actually legendary.
You're like, we're going to a new stadium anyway.
Screw it. It'll be fine. Everything's fine, okay,
guys.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. If you're the Rays, would you do this though? I mean, think about it. Like, is this? I don't know. You got to spend probably about $25-30 million to rehab a stadium that you're going to play in for.
What I want to know is how much does it cost to tear the stadium down?
Well, the new stadium's not going to be built anywhere near that.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, 30 million to tear it down, 55 million to fix it.
There's also that. There was another Trevor May, who has a baseball podcast. He goes on
5 baseballs.
Yeah, he was a great relief pitcher for the A's.
That's just too many baseballs.
Yeah, it's just his thing. He's got a Trevor May baseball YouTube. That's what he does.
You said it so many times.
Yeah, it's his show.
He can say it, I guess, however many times he wants.
Yeah, it's his show. He's $1 million pitcher.
Whatever.
You know, great guy. Anyway, he was on Foul Territory and he talked about it. He mentioned something about, that the insurance companies would potentially give them more, half that money just to walk away from the stadium altogether.
That's what I was saying.
It's just like,
yeah, we're done here.
But that means we're going to have 2 Major League Baseball teams playing in minor league baseball parks. And if the Tampa Bay does not build this one and fix this up and refix Tropicana Field to play in there that means they're playing in a AAA stadium, probably in Tampa, near where their spring training facility is, for 3 seasons, dude.
Right.
3 seasons until their new ball field in St. Petersburg is ready.
Move them to Utah.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think
we could have one ready in 2 seasons.
Yeah, we can have one ready.
Brand new, state of the art.
Yeah, and we have 2 minor league ball fields that are ready.
We got fields going up everywhere in Salt Lake.
Yeah. Do you need an ice hockey rink?
Hell, they could play in Rice-Eccles Stadium if they need to.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Seats 50,000.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll definitely figure it out. But yeah, just want to do an update on that before we do. So we want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below.
Also, we got a comment from Tammy Price, friend of the channel.
Tammy Price. What we got?
Whole staff should get the Cy Young Award. Thank you, Tammy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Had to pitch a whole World Series game and 4 other playoff games.
Whole World Series game. Whole staff did.
Whole staff just dominated. Johnny Holstaff.
Yeah. Man. If you guys don't know the joke, I'm an idiot. That's the joke.
Actually, I did find out that that's actually a name. It's actually a thing for bullpen game called, Johnny Holstaff is pitching.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because I didn't know that when I said it.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
So it makes it no better.
Yeah. So we
It's
want to
fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's great. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think when it comes to the Tropicana. Should they fix it? It's that's a lot. It's still a lot of money and a lot of time that they're going to be down. A year, and they get back in the Tropicana for 2 more years, and then they'd have to move on to a new stadium. I think that's the right way to go. I think you got to do it. And then get yourself back into a major league ballpark, and then you have that ballpark in your back pocket, Tampa Bay, to do something else, right? So,
yeah.
I just think it's the right move. So we'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments down below what you think.
Absolutely.
All right. So it's been a while since we talked about our boy. It's been a while.
It's been too long.
It's been a while.
Because he's over here posting so much key quality content.
Yeah. Which I definitely want to get into. So we need to talk about Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
So Trevor Bauer released his video, which I've been telling you week in, week out to stop spoiling his videos for his followers there. So you can, but he released it this week that the Diablos won their championship in Mexico. He mentioned that while he was trying in that game, when he was, I think it was game 4, I can't remember. He was talking to us another pitcher there. He mentioned that he's going to try and get an MLB contract this year, but if not, potentially go back to Japan to try and get the Cy Young over there. That got me thinking that this offseason can really be the last shot that Trevor Bauer really has a chance to be on a roster spot on a Major League Baseball team. And I don't mean that that's going to be like his, this is his last shot to pitch in the majors. What I mean is that this is his last chance to, because he's wasting his prime in Japan and wasting his prime in Mexico. I wouldn't say wasting, but he's spending his prime in Mexico and in Japan, right? I really think for him to get on a Major League Baseball team, have a year prove it deal, and then sign a contract, a decent MLB contract, this is really his last year to make that happen.
The window is very quickly approaching because he's 25, 26?
I think he's older than that.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I think he's older than that. But anyway, what were you saying?
Well, the fact is your prime, like you said, he's right into his prime. He's pitching, he's playing absolutely great baseball right now. His year in Mexico was fantastic. He almost got the Triple Crown in Mexico. He missed the ERA by 0.6 runs. But I mean, he had the most wins. I don't think he lost one of his starts.
No,
I think he was 10-0 in his starts.
Yeah, no losses. 10-0 for sure. You ready for this?
Yeah.
He's 33 years old.
Oh, geez. So he's literally right. And he's on the tail end of his prime, really.
Yeah. I think between now and age 35, he did miss a lot this year due to injury. Not necessarily his fault because he got set with the same syndrome that Freddie Freeman's kid had. Not as severe, but yeah, 33 years old, man. So that's just kind of hitting it home where I'm thinking there is that basically, yeah, if he doesn't get, that doesn't mean like he can't get on a Major League Baseball
and it's
team,
not like you can't pitch into your 40s. I mean, it's obviously, look at Chris Sale for the Braves.
Yeah.
The dude's in his late 30s and he's just had one of the best years of his career.
Yeah, those guys are fewer and farther between now.
And I agree, but Bauer's never been a guy that's going to overwhelm you with a fastball.
No, he can hit 96 when he wants to, but yeah.
But exactly. He's got great movement on his stuff. That's what he's always been about. He's got great movement. He's a very technical pitcher. But so does he have a longer career because of that? Maybe. The fact is you're still counting on your 96, 97 mile an hour fastball to overwhelm people.
Mm-hmm.
And once that's away and your fastball only tops out at 95, that's batting practice in Major League Baseball.
For sure.
So,
yeah. So I don't know, man. Like, I'm just saying that this, to me, when it comes to Trevor Bauer, this is kind of, and I hope he's got an opportunity. I hope a team gives him a chance, but this is kind of like, if it's not this year, I don't know when it's going to happen. Not necessarily this off season, but maybe
why would the Braves not sign Trevor Bauer?
Why would the Braves not sign Trevor Bauer?
Why would they not?
Didn't I curse your team earlier this year when I said, other than the Atlanta Braves, there's every other team in the league could use Trevor Bauer?
Yeah, you absolutely did. But I mean, Max Fried's gone.
Future Dodger. Yeah.
I just read the stupid statistics too. And it literally the Dodgers are literally betting odds for Fried.
He's a lefty, dude. The Dodgers need a lefty. Like,
yeah.
We've got all these pitchers, but we don't have a lefty.
Annoying.
We're waiting on Clayton Kershaw, man. It's not going to happen. We need a lefty. It's either him or Blake Snell, and I'd rather have Fried.
Yeah.
So Why would the Braves trade him? I don't know. You know,
I think especially
Sorry.
because the Braves notoriously don't pay people what they're worth.
no,
Especially
that's
in,
right up.
you know what I mean? Like I could see the Braves signing Bauer to like a 5-year deal.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? For $15 million a year, which is a steal if he's even close to as productive as he has been in any of the Mexican leagues.
Right. Well,
He's going to be a rotation pitcher, no doubt.
yeah, he's not going to be your ace, but he definitely will be a back of the line starter.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah, I would agree that it's a perfect place for him to land.
What I need to do is I need to call my dad and ask him his thoughts on Trevor Bauer. That's what next week.
Pops, chime in the comments. Let us know.
Yes.
Comments down below. Does he watch this show?
I think he listens to us sometimes, but I know he's been really busy. I just chatted with him last week, so I don't think he's listened for a couple of weeks, but I need to call him and I'll get back to you guys and let you know what my dad thinks.
Yeah. To be continued on that.
Yeah.
Braves fan. You know, when Pops talks about he knows the Braves.
My dad knows the Braves.
Yeah. So yes, lines right up, man. They, like you mentioned, they don't pay their players what they're worth. They sign them to contracts earlier when they're available to get them that guaranteed money.
And to keep them on the roster long term.
Marcell Ozuna, they're not afraid of the controversy. You know,
they're not, and they're gonna. They just picked up his option for $25 million next year.
Yeah, which Marcell Ozuna is not really that doesn't match up, but optics wise, Marcell Ozuna is seen kind of in the same vein as Trevor Bauer, and he's on the team. And they don't seem to be concerned with that controversy at all. So they're definitely a team that can look past that. I like the Braves, man. I honestly think that I still think the Rockies are the best place for Bauer to land, though.
Elevation.
Yeah, he knows how to pitch in elevation.
He figured it out down in Mexico for sure.
He's figured it out, and I'm surprised that
they only throw him in home games.
Yeah. Sorry,
we're on the road this year, bro. We can't do it.
And they only pitch when it's always raining when he's pitching. What is that? Like
he needs that ball to be a little sticky.
With rain, like does it rain different in Mexico? Like
it's not the rain, but what he's figured out is there's some sort of stuff that he can put on his hands activated with water. So he's like, I
actually do know. Do you know why your hands get all wrinkly when they get wet?
I don't.
It's so you can actually grip better.
See?
Yeah.
So he's over there wrinkly handed, dipping them in puddles before the game. Just soaking them.
Did we just invent the new sticky stuff?
Oh, we did, and it's totally legal too. They're like, your
hands for a half hour before every game.
They're like, dude, your hands are so wrinkly. He's like, watch this curveball.
Watch this. Break
35 inches of break. I started his head.
Exactly. I love it. We just fixed baseball, folks. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
This
needs to be a short.
Yeah,
this needs to be a short. We need to make this into a short.
Absolutely. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about Trevor Bauer. Do you think that this is really his last chance to sign a major league contract, at least get back in the league? Or do you think he's permanently blackballed from the league? We'd love to hear from you in the comments down below what you think. Once again, folks, this channel did hit 1,000 subscribers. If you have not yet, hit that subscribe button. We're giving the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. So if you want to get involved in that giveaway, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Do it. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this whole thing is available, this extra long episode, just for your listening pleasure as a podcast, wherever you get your audio.
You're welcome, Ute fans. Come on.
Yeah. There's tons of good Ute stuff in this.
We talked about the Utes for like an hour today.
It was excellent. I lost track of time. I'm in my Zen place right now.
I love it. It was great. We'd love to hear from you folks. If you're watching this on the podcast, slap us a review. We'd really appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, slap us some engagement. It really helps out the channel. Smash that like button. We'd love to hear from you. Jump in the comments, all that good stuff.
Yep.
With all that said, my name is Darren. That is AJ. And this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.